If you've ever been fortunate enough to visit the west coast of Tasmania, chances are you've seen Montezuma Falls. At 104 metres, this towering monarch is Tasmania's highest waterfall and pours out its pristine waters into the lush, cool temperate rainforest which surround it. Accessed only by following an old tramway for several kilometres, this impossible route was hand-carved into the steep, mineralised hillsides and stands today as a testament to the strength and resilience of the unwavering West Coast spirit. But beyond the tramline and falls lay a myriad of lost stories, and one of these stories is the once thriving gold rush town of Ringville.
Now, before we get started on this adventure, I just want to make it really clear. Yes, I have got a permit to fly a drone and film commercially, thanks to forestry. They were actually pretty quick, way different to Parks and Wildlife. I think if Parks and Wildlife were as efficient as dishing out permits as they were dishing out infringement notices, the world would be a much better place. Anyway, we're not going to Ringville just yet. We're going to take this all the way to the end to begin, if that makes sense. The end of the tramline, Williamsford. So I'm standing here at a very historic site. Those of you that have visited Montezuma Falls would know this area as the Montezuma Falls car park. But if you had been here 100 years ago, you would know it as the Williamsford train station. And this was where the Northeast Dundas train came to a halt. A 27-kilometre journey all the way from Zeehan through some of the most spectacular and mountainous country Tasmania has to offer.
Construction of the Northeast Dundas tramline began in January 1896, when the daughter of the General Manager of Railways, Miss Beck, turned over the first sod to a crowd of over 500 Zeehanites. This was a welcome change for Zeehan, who happened to be going through one of her periodical bad times, as the new tramline would allow the delivery of precious mining ore, which could then be processed and smelted in town ready for export. The resulting narrow gauge railway was a triumph in engineering, and thanks to the carving of the precipitous hillsides and building of giant trestle bridges, it was able to successfully tow up to 50 tonnes of ore, crossing swiftly flowing streams and winding its way through broken country once unimaginable. It was officially finished in 1898 and featured 20 stops before arriving at the newly formed mining town of Williamsford.
So you've come all the way from Zeehan and you're looking for a job. You come off the train and you're going to head up the track, probably somewhere around here. That there, I'd say. That's a track for sure. So we'll follow that up the hill and see what the terminus looks like. It's been about 10 seconds since I got on this track and I'm already finding like old boots, bottles, bricks. This is going to be a fun little day trip today. There's so much history in this area. So right where I'm standing was the site of the Terminus Hotel. The biggest and grandest hotel that Williamsford had, and the longest standing as well.
Situated right in the centre of Williamsford, the Terminus Hotel served as a meeting hall, accommodation and drinking hole, and remained in operation for over half a century. Outside the hotel was the famous Hercules tramway, which carried the mineral-rich ore from the mines high up on Mount Hamilton down to the northeast Dundas tramline. The haulage was gravity operated, with loaded carts hauling the empty carts to the top of the mountain, climbing an altitude of 500 metres in 1.6 kilometres, with a gradient of over 36 degrees. The haulage was closed in 1986 and all buildings dismantled, leaving behind the shell of a once thriving town.
So what we're going to do is we're going to retrace some of this northeast Dundas tramline all the way to Montezuma Falls, and then just past the falls there was a station named Montezuma Station, and just down from there was a little pack track that led for a couple of k's to the gold rush town of Ringville. I've been wanting to check out this Ringville place for a while. So what better time than a good sunny day on the west coast of Tassie. Now, just before we get started on this epic rainforest walk, I do need to give you a little disclaimer. There is going to be a fair chunk of this that I'm not legally allowed to show you. As ridiculous as this sounds, the first part of this walk is managed by forestry, which is permanent timber production forest. The middle chunk of it is still managed by Parks and Wildlife, who haven't issued me my commercial filming license yet. And then the tail end of it, including Montezuma Falls and Ringville, is once again permanent timber production forest. So I just want to clear that up because I don't want anyone coming after me, and I just want everyone to know that they're different zones. All right, let's get into it. So we've just crossed Montezuma Falls and it's not too far to go until we reach the, I believe it's the turn off. It looked like a cut-in on the LiDAR imagery on the maps, so I'm hoping that there's a bit of a track still there that will lead me down to Ringville. Now I don't know for sure, but this here looks like a pretty nice track. Oh, I've got no idea if this track leads to Ringville. I just noticed that there was a bit of a cut-in on the side of the bank just past Montezuma Falls on the LiDAR imagery. So there's no guarantees on this. This is a bit more like it. A bit more what we're used to. This has got to be the old pack track that leads down there, for sure. So right where I came in here is the end of the ATV track for quads and four-wheel drive, and that must be where the old Montezuma station was. So if you lived in Ringville, you could make it to the So if you lived in Ringville, you could make it to the Montezuma station on the tram, and then from there you'd have to walk the K1.5 to the township of Ringville. And if you wanted to go even further to Rosebery, there was a pack track that led from Ringville over the Ring River and onwards to Rosebery. You can tell by the grade of this track, like this was a really good pack track. Good enough for horses, way good enough for horses, but not vehicle, because the hairpin bends that they've got in this are way too tight for a vehicle. So the maximum they would have had was the horses. It would have been someone's job just to load up at Montezuma station, load up horses and pack supplies into the guys who are working the Ring River for gold. And they would have probably got paid something like 10 or 20 cents per kilogram that they packed. And sometimes that was more profitable than being a gold prospector, because it was just consistent, guaranteed cash, whereas prospecting, nothing consistent. So I've just come across this bridge here. It's a bit of a footbridge made out of logs. Looks like it's been modified in recent years, so you've got some ply over the top, which doesn't look too strong, but you can see underneath it the original bridge that would have been used to cross Montezuma or Avon Creek. Now, according to my map, we are right on the township of Ringville. And I wonder, was that part of an old bridge? That must have been an old bridge. So you can see there's a bit of a road there, comes down, and then you've got that giant log, that big sleeper. It's a bearing. Yeah, look at that. A beautiful road comes down here, along here, and then all the way to that log where it would have spanned across the length. Oh, first sign of the old town, a brick. There's another brick. I'm going to head down and have a look at the Ring River, because the pack track that led from Ringville to Rosebery had an old bridge. It was basically on the junction of Montezuma Creek and the Ring. So I'm really curious to see if that bridge is still there. I saw a photograph of someone walking across it in like the 80s. And it just looked so ancient. It's a mad area to explore. Like, I can't believe how open it is. I don't see any bridge here. Could have been across there. I don't know about this bridge. I've walked a fair way upstream and doesn't seem to exist anymore. But what's really bizarre is I can't even find where it might have been originally. Normally if there was a bridge there'd be a landing to and from it, and nah, I reckon it's too wide up here for a bridge. Oh wow, look at this wall here. That is impressive. Not sure if that's diversion or... Yeah, wow, that is so cool. So a lot of work went into that thing. If only there was an old photograph that could tell us what its purpose used to be. That's bloody amazing, and there's so much more of it too up there. It must go all the way down. Most of it's been covered, and it's just a little bit that gets too much weather that keeps it exposed. There must be so many things buried here in this overgrown jungle. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and suggest that there, going all the way across, is the old bridge. It just seems like it's perfect to go right over there. And look at the track. It's a pretty well defined track. It's slightly overgrown, but straight along here, and then a curve to the right. You can still see one big bit of wood that was part of the bearings, I think, and then all the way across. But the rest of it must have been washed away in the last, who knows, 20, 30, 40 years. I'm not sure when that photograph was taken that I saw. It wasn't in very good condition then. Unfortunately, these days you can only imagine what this place would have been like. This is probably my most significant discovery, which is that there. So it's an old chimney and some old bricks and a little bit of metal. This here is some sort of homemade brick type thing, conglomerate looking brick. Here's an interesting little area. It's just a tiny little open flat button grassy area, but it's got a good feel about it. I reckon there's something nearby here. I don't know what they were used for, but we've got more piles of stones here. Actually, they're scattered out all around here. Look at that. They're everywhere. They must have turned this place upside down after Ringville. I reckon that this must have been mined. It was an alluvial flat that was mined after Ringville closed, but I could be wrong. But definitely all around here there's just heaps of walls, rock walls. It's all the same for over there. You can't see the pattern on the rock, but because we know that these are all mullock heaps, then it's safe to say that these are mullock heaps as well. That there, yeah, they're everywhere. That's my prediction. Well, I'm back at the bridge. I think the bridge and that massive wall were the two best finds of the day. This is actually quite a bit more complex than I originally thought too. So you've got all of these rocks here that are built up, to help raise the level of the road. And then there's multiple bits of timber in here to support the bridge. But unfortunately, that's it for me today. I've run out of time. It's 4 o'clock. I've got a couple of hours to get back out of here. But it has been a magic day. I'm super stoked with it, and I'm glad that I came out today because the weather was perfect and I had a really fun day exploring. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.